Hello, hello. Ooh, doggy. It's been intense. Didn't sleep much last night, and energies keep ramping stronger. It's the day before Good Friday here in Canada. What I wanted to talk about today is some truths about Ascension. So, I'm going to base this on my awareness, and I'll explain what I believe, and then you can fit that into your beliefs or line it and rub it up against whatever you want to call it. But from everything I understand, I've been taught, I'm aware of inside of my being, is we are all fractals of God. We are portions of God that have separated out and are living all these experiences and all the possibilities to basically become aware, deeper awareness, try everything, etc., etc. Now, each of us have a life experience that is, I wouldn't say jaded, but is based upon what our parents taught us, what our schools taught us, what our religions taught us, what our government taught us, what all the things that we grew up with gave us a frame of reality. And a lot of that stuff is collective based. It's like, okay, in my religion we do this, and we go to church every Sunday, and we have communion, and all these kind of things. That's just kind of some of the things that that we receive as programming to say you're a good Christian, you're a good person, you're going to be saved by God or whatever. Just speaking of religion, there's a million of them around money and other things. So now imagine you're a fragment of God that is having this experience and has joined up with a bunch of other light beings to have experiences. And then there's this collective society, or what we call the world, and then all our beliefs kind of match in with that. Now everybody else has their own little reflection of that thing. Oh, jeez. Hopefully people can hear me. If you can't hear me, please tell me. Every once in a while when it calls, it cuts off my audio. But we have these collective things that are rubbing up against each other, and it's basically making a reality. And then there's everybody else's realities mixed into it. And we've got to a point where a lot of density has happened. A lot of people have had dark experiences and other things. Now we're a part of God. Remember, Ascension is us becoming back aware, splitting away from our ego, moving through all our life experiences to eventually get to the point where we can rejoin with the fragment of God that we are and see us as all, etc. Now, the truth about Ascension, do you think a fragment of God can move back to its association with God if it's got mommy issues, or it's got daddy issues, or it's got family issues, or you hate the person from your divorce, or you hate somebody from your past trauma? Now, these things are going to be pretty hard because a lot of people hang on to these self-definitions of I'm divorced and my ex is awful and blah, 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 blah. And it defines us and it pisses us off. So right now, as we're pushing to ascend, we're being aggravated by all these things. These things are coming up, they're poking us, they're telling us things, we're seeing things, etc., because your fragment of God needs to push through the judgment, the trigger, the energies that are trapped, the past emotions, the trauma, etc. So we're being scrubbed, and we're being scrubbed to get back to pure light, pure acceptance. Now, it takes a lot of awareness to start to accept this and say, okay, I got these lessons throughout the course of this life, and anything that's bothering me is something that I need to go look at. And if I think it's somebody else's problem or somebody else's fault, or they're bad or they're not good or whatever, that's not us accepting ourselves as part of God. Now, this is pretty advanced level awareness, and it may piss some people off or whatever, but I just want to plant the seed to say, if we're going to ascend, can we ascend being angry at somebody, wanting to hurt them, wanting to, I don't know, Do whatever is underneath. Maybe you're a victim of something and you want to kill the person, that victim, or cause them pain or suffering, etc. You're going to find out you can't carry that, and it's going to get pushed on you over and over and over again for you to eventually look at it. Some really key things that we can use to start to be aware is understand that they were maybe a victim from their parents. Maybe they were a victim from a past lover. Maybe they were a victim of their own, and they were suffering and they were feeling this pain, and they projected their suffering onto you in your relationship. Or maybe they victimized you by being a predator because somebody predated on them. We end up starting to realize that this is a place where everybody is being pushed through a set of experiences to test them, to form them, to shape them, to help them come back to forgiveness, to love, to everything. So as part of Ascension, do you think you can ascend and be pure, completely pure, and acknowledge who you are if you still have some unresolved conflict, some thing that just pisses you off, and it's getting that doorbell rung all day long right now because it wants you to complete this and move forward? So what I'm suggesting is start to take self-responsibility. We all had a part in things, and start to unwind it from our end. Take our power back by stop being a victim to it and saying, okay, this came into my life for some reason. It was really awful. It was really horrible, and it feels really bad, but I chose it. Holy frick, does your power come back. The minute you say, this came into my life for a reason. It did not come in to harm me or hurt me or make me a victim. It came into my life for me to learn from. And every bad thing has a reason. And we will see it not as a bad thing over time, but until we can transcend that and start to accept it, work through the pain and suffering and emotion and wound that's underneath there, that's a lifelong process sometimes for people. But right now, the whole earth is ascending. We don't have multi lifetimes to work through it. So you are getting beaten sideways right now to be able to work through this. So the easiest path through is to say, okay, this happened to me, or happened for me, not to me. And magic starts to happen. Okay, what was the for? Okay, now I'm seeing I didn't have boundaries. Now I'm seeing I should have chosen myself first. I didn't have self-love in this. I was giving too much and I was way out of balance. You'll start to see something. And then when you can take it and say, okay, that happened. It's not my brightest moment, not my happiest moment, but it happened. And I accept it. And take your power back. Stop being a victim. Stop waiting for them to change. Stop waiting for them to say, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. There's a million things you're going to hold on to. And it's just programming, and it's our ego saying we have to get restitution. I don't know for how long in my life it's like, oh shit, this is all awful. It was disgusting and painful. And eventually I'm just going to get a whole bunch of money and it's going to make up for it. No. Until you feel worthy of getting that money's not going to come. Until you stop being a victim, that money's not going to come. That lover's not going to come. All these things aren't going to come until we've resolved our fraction of God and why these things happen. And I'm not saying understanding it. I'm not saying we have to figure it out. I'm not saying anything of the sort. I'm saying I accept that this happened. I feel it, and the pain and the suffering is there. And I can't see why it was good just yet, but as of right now, I'm just going to breathe and accept and let the energy pass. Forgive it and release it. There's a shitload of that required right now. Forgive shit that doesn't feel good. Forgive stuff that you don't understand, that makes you hurt, and it just makes your mind feel demented every time you try and talk about it or feel it. Just let it go. You are a part of God. You did some pretty demented stuff to try and teach you're human. Humans are in a veil. They don't have that same awareness. We come here to be human, to have these experiences, some of them dark. This is the only place where you can go this dark and have them. So we chose some pretty crappy stuff for ourselves. And I'm a masochist. I hurt myself more than I can possibly imagine for more than half my life. And I didn't even know I was doing it. I thought that was societal. I thought that was normal. I thought I had to do better. I thought I had to please. I thought I had to figure things out. I was exhausted. I'm still exhausted. And I feel it coming out of my body. So please, please, please just start to look at things. imagine yourself as God. How would God do this? Why would they do it? Why would they, from a higher perspective? A lot of real dense feeling love is really a lot of light, just inverted. You think it's bad, but sometimes those really violent experiences or whatever forces us to make a change or shrinks us down until we make a different choice. This is all the divinity that we're walking through. So it's an intense topic. If it triggers you, it's meant to. We're not going to get, everything's not just going to magically go away in an instant and you still have that stuff underneath. But I'll tell you, it will magically go in an instant when you let all the energy about it, you forgive it, you accept that it happened and move on and start fresh. That's the energy that we're looking to clear it. Anything family related, anything past. We're going into resurrection this weekend with Easter from the Christian calendar. You're going to get yourself put on a cross through your anger, frustration, fights, etc. inside, and then you're going to get a choice. Do you go back to your God self and be arisen, or do you die on the cross? That's the Christian side of what we're going through, or the description. It's not everybody, and every religion has their own version of something like that. So I love you. I see another call coming in. I will talk to you soon. I'm pretty well complete. Have a good day. Bye.